Welcome back, 522 on this Wednesday morning. Time to get our ag news, the midweek report. Time to check in once again with Bob Bosold. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Bob. And I know you guys have been talking about this, but where you were on 9/11 23 years ago.
Remember it vividly.
Oh, I was about 20 feet from right here, ran into the newsroom and watching Channel 13 coverage of it, and it was unbelievable. It just you couldn't imagine something like that could happen.
And just like listening in our previous interview, it's how important it is for us to not forget what happened.
Absolutely. Really something. But let's hope for better times ahead.
Yes.
Let's take a look at some of our farm news this morning. Congress is back in Washington, but with it being election year, what will they get done? One of their big jobs is to write a new farm bill, and outgoing Senate Agriculture Committee Chair Senator Debbie Stabenow of Michigan, who is not running for re-election, says she's going to do everything in her power to pass a new farm bill this year. But there are big differences to overcome. Republicans want a 15% increase in reference prices, which they say could be paid for with a $29 billion cut in feeding programs. They also want $13 billion for climate-smart mitigation to be spent on conservation practices the Democrats say don't reduce greenhouse gas emissions or sequester carbon. And on September 30th, it's the kind of a D-Day for a new bill, as that is the end of the current fiscal year, as well as the day the current extension of the 2018 Farm Bill expires. So far, the House Ag Committee has passed a new farm bill, but that still needs a full House vote, while in the Senate, the bill has not even been marked up in the Senate Ag Committee, so still a lot of work to do. Well, the fall harvest is underway here in Wisconsin. Farmers have chopped about 9% of their corn silage, according to this week's crop progress report. They've also harvested 98% of their oats, dug 42% of the fall potatoes, and planted 11% of the winter wheat crop. 96% of third crop hay has been made, and about 44% of fourth crop. The crop ratings for this week show corn is now 64% good to excellent, with 90% of the crop in the dough stage, 58% has dented, and 5% is now considered mature, safe from frost. Out in the soybean fields, pod setting is about complete. 45% of the plants are changing colors, 10% are dropping leaves, and boy, that color change is happening fast. The soybeans this week are rated 62% good to excellent. Topsoil moisture ratings have fallen a little bit. We haven't had a lot of rain, so they've fallen this week down to 80% adequate to surplus, 18% short, and 2% very short. Nationally, about 5% of the corn for grain have been harvested. That's a little ahead of last year. Texas, the furthest along, 75% of their corn is already off. Remember, they plant in February. This week's report also shows 95% of the corn crop across the country has reached the dough stage. 74% is dented. 29% of the crop is now considered mature. In Minnesota, just 54% of the corn crop is dented. That's well behind normal over there. In the soybeans across the country, 97% of the plants have set pods. 25% have started dropping their leaves. And the official August Class 3 milk price came out, $20.66 a hundred. That's up 87 cents from July's price of $19.79, meaning an average of $17.75 for the first 8 months of this year. Let's go to the market board. Bean and corns were lower yesterday, anticipating another USDA report in September that'll be bearish. Overnight, December corn up 2 cents, sitting at $4.06 this morning. The wheat up 4 to 5 cents. November beans closed under $10 yesterday, but 9 to 10 cent improvement overnight has them at $10.07 this morning. Dairy markets, all we can do is say wow at these dairy markets. Barrel cheese up 5.5 cents at $2.34 a pound. Blocks up 3.5. The butter was down 1.5 cents, but still sitting at $3.17.5 a pound. Class 3 futures way up there, $23 for September's 23.11, up 14 cents. October up 38 at 23.92. There's only been about 4 or 5 months ever that have had a higher price than that 23.92. Of course, it hasn't been locked in for October yet, but it's up there. November up 48 at 23.43. So that's where we are, Bob, as we look at our markets and news this morning. And again, this kind of weather, A lot of activity in the fields. We talk about the harvest. Those numbers are going to go up significantly by the time we get next week's report, so be careful out there.
Yeah, another stretch and a whole week worth of 80s.
Oh,
We'll take
man.
it.
Yeah, this late in September, it's welcome, that's for sure.
All right, have a great one, Bob.
We'll do our best. Thank you.